Well, Kimmy Badnock has gone and done it again. She's done exactly what every single other trade minister, and well, obviously, she's also now technically the Brexit minister. After all, the office for Brexit was refolded back into the business department. So technically, once again, she is in charge of Brexit. Um, she is today in Westminster on Wednesday signing a well, twinning agreement almost in a way with Governor Greg Abbott in Westminster, the governor of Texas. He's over apparently in the UK, especially apparently to sign this and do a bit of a trade mission with America. But as we've said before, these memorandums of understanding that are essentially being signed are useless. They're nothing. It's like it's the equivalent of friending someone on Facebook. Um, you're not exactly friends just because you friend someone on Facebook. I guarantee you've got people on your Facebook friends list who you wouldn't really consider maybe friends or sort of close acquaintances, but you have them there anyway. Um, but this is what they've been reduced to in an attempt to try and justify a trade deal. And of course, there was talks earlier in this week of a UK delegation rushing over to India to try and get an Indian trade deal done. So far, there's been no word on that actually happening. We'll see if anything on that front happens, but I am highly, highly doubt it. And as I've said before, I think if one gets signed, it's not going to be very worth it. I think they're going to do exactly the same thing they did to Australia. They'll sign a very, very bare bones free trade agreement, which will be worth nothing, and basically say, "Oh well, look, we'll call you. We'll call you, and we'll sort it out later down the line." Bear in mind, as we said before, Australia has been waiting over 8-9 years, I think, at this point, for India to phone them back. It ain't happening. And of course, a US trade deal ain't happening either, certainly under Biden. And it's certainly probably not going to happen either under Trump as well, because you've got the Ways and Means Committee that are also probably going to be like, we don't really see the point. And of course, if Trump gets his way, he's going to sign, or at least insist that the UK sign away a lot of rights and responsibilities and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, would not be a very good trade deal. And to be honest, so far, the UK does not have a very good track record for signing trade deals. So, there you go. So, let's get on into this. Because, like I say, this is going to be happening today. There'll probably be a big hoo-ha and bubble from the right about signing yet another memorandum of understanding. But as we said before, they're pointless. But before we do get on into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the one after link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And of course, the YouTube thank you button. And of course, thank you very much to everyone else who does help and support the channel that way. Like I say, all the links down below in the doobly-doo. And of course, you can click on the like and share button. So let's crack on into this. Comes from The Standard. With the title of Brexit, Minister hails closer ties to Texas, but no free trade deal with the US or India. So ministers have now hailed closer ties with Texas, but there is still no sign of the much trumpeted post-Brexit free trade deals between Britain and the US or India. And of course, the US one in particular was the Shangri-La of Brexit. That if we get this free trade deal with America, it'll make looking like staying in the single market completely worthless. Of course, Daniel Hanan and the Brexit the movie. Probably we should watch that sometime. Again, I don't know. I have to check if we can actually do that. That'd be kind of interesting to do. Watching Brexit the movie, 10 years on, I think might be quite a good idea at some point. So the UK is set to sign an agreement on closer trade cooperation with Texas as the governor continues to try and persuade state-level deals in the absence of a wider free trade agreement with America. Trade Secretary Kimmy Badnock and Texas Governor Greg Abbott are expected to formally sign an agreement in Westminster on Wednesday. This agreement is not a trade deal because individual US states do not have the power to sign these. But these takes the form of a memorandum of understanding designed to improve cooperation between businesses in Britain and Texas to tackle regulatory barriers to trade. Badenoch said, "I'm delighted to welcome Governor Abbott to the UK for this landmark signing." Um, like I say, I don't know why you're dragging him all the here to get him to sign this, because it's pointless. It's showboating. It's a complete circus. But again, looks like you're doing stuff on Brexit, and of course, probably one of the reasons why, just like Liz Truss, why Kimmy Badenoch is so popular at the moment, because she's doing all this stuff on this front. So the British PM told India's leader that he wants an ambitious outcome to the trade talks between the countries, as they agreed on the need for a comprehensive deal. They agreed on the importance of securing a historic and comprehensive trade deal that benefits both countries, the Prime Minister's official spokesman has said. The Prime Minister Sunak reiterated the importance of reaching an ambitious outcome on the goods and services, as they agreed to remain close in contact to look forward to further progress on these talks. But the Indian trade deal, which has also been long anticipated, does not appear to be making any decisive or swift progress. Like I say, I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening at all. And if it does happen, it's going to be a very bare bones one, as we said, with Australia. And to be honest, they're going to leave us, they're going to completely ghost us after us, just as they ghosted Australia. Liberal Democrat Tory spokesman Sarah Onley, an MP for Richmond Park, said this Conservative government cowboy trade deal policy is shooting the British public in the foot and making life even more difficult for small businesses. Trying to achieve a free trade agreement with America has been part of the Conservatives' 2019 manifesto, but the progress towards this deal has been stalled, with Ms. Badenoch blaming a lack of interest on the part of Joe Biden's administration. It's not just a lack of interest; it's a clear lack of understanding about international world trade and how the world looks like at this moment in time. Um, Instead, they continue. The UK has now pursued these series of state-level deals, including Indiana in May of 2022 and most recently Florida in November of last year. Although the agreements do not lower tariffs as the free trade deal would, they can provide some help for businesses through recognizing UK qualifications or addressing state-level regulatory issues. Texas Governor Abbott said, "This is our ninth largest trade partner. The United Kingdom plays a critical role in the Texas economic juggernaut. Strengthening the bond between Texas and the United Kingdom is crucial for our shared economies to prosper. By signing this statement of mutual cooperation today, we'll further promote economic growth on both sides of the Atlantic. Texas is an economic engine of America." Oh, no, it isn't. But that's probably a conversation for another time. Where entrepreneurs from around the globe can cast a vision that they will know that they will achieve it. Working with our British partners, we want to try and chart a greater path towards success and opportunity to create even more robust economic partnership. Um, Unless you get a free trade deal, that is impossible. And well, basically because of how everything's been going, everyone's sort of more looking to be sort of a bit more protectionist, keep more protection in their economies, more. This has very much become a thing. This is why we're not going to achieve one with India, because their economies and their economic stance has been for quite some time to be very, very protectionist on that front. They've done very, very few international trade deals. Hence their reluctance to go out and do one, because they are such a large country. They've got all these natural resources. Um, they are very, very much focusing on building and sort of maintaining their own sort of economy, and being very sort of economically independent of other countries. That has been very much their stance since, well, independence almost. Like I say, the Indian trade deal ain't happening. The American one ain't happening. Even under Trump, the even if he did want to offer one, it would be very, very not in our favor, I think, to actually take it. But of course, if it's a conservative government, they would be so desperate, they would gladly take it. But as I said before, this would permanently, I think, render a lot of regulations that we take in the UK would be gone because of that trade deal. And as we said before, look at what Canada is trying to do with their trade deals. Said, "Oh, wait, you allowed all that stuff with Australia and New Zealand, so we want that as well." And that's been the big sticking point, because especially as we said back at the time, Grant Shapps really, really went hard on Liz Truss for agreeing to all those concessions to Australia and New Zealand. And now, of course, Canada wants the same thing. But Canada has an incredibly large agricultural output, just as Australia does as well. And if you allow both of those into the UK as well, that spells massive problems for UK farmers, very, very much so. So we'll see what happens. I think they might maybe try and cause trouble for us for full ascension to the Pacific Partnership or the CTTPP. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be fun, and when that happens, and of course you've got the secret courts as part of that thing as well, which is also going to be very interesting as well. But as always, let me know what you think down to this down below, and of course, as always, please remember to click the like and share button on your way out, and of course, thank you very much for watching, and of course, links down below to help support the channel, and of course, we'll see you all next time.